Hello, one and all. I am Dr. Shamili Mandal and I'm back again with the second lecture of Module 3, that is Folk and its Narrative Genres. So now we are going to start our second lecture, Folk Tales of East and Northeast India. So in this, I have tried to cover the folk tales which are very prevalent in the eastern and the northeastern regions of India. So we'll start with the folk tales from Bihar. The folktales of Bihar shows the region's cultural assimilation with the hints of magic, fantasy and daily life. Many of these folktales capture the lives, hardships and beliefs of the Bihar people. The state has created a number of unique folk tales that have been passed down through the years because of its rich cultural past and ingrained customs. Morality, wisdom, and the victory of good over evil are all lessons found in these tales, with hints, as I said, of magic, fantasy, and daily life. These folk tales capture the lives and beliefs of the Bihar people, or you can say the people residing in Bihar. So, I'll be giving you some folk tales of Bihar. The first one, that is in Bihar, a Brahmin was notoriously stupid and unsophisticated. While he was driving to a nearby town one day, he came into a band of thieves who pretended to be Brahmins actually. He was given a fake story about a hidden treasure and invited to the thieves' lair. Unaware of their plans, the Brahmin told them where he had concealed his personal possessions. The robbers stole everything from him in the dark of night. His embarrassment prevented him from telling anyone what had transpired. Later on, through the villagers came to know his aid by teaching him the value of caution and discernment. So, this folk tale, emphasizes the value of exercising caution and wisdom, particularly in new circumstances. And what do we learn here? That we should not believe every stranger because the group of robbers who said themselves to be, another group of Brahmins were actually not belonging to that caste, but they were rather robbers who were out to loot people. The second folktale I'll say you is about a farmer in a village of Bihar. So while preparing his field in a in a Bihar village, okay, or you can say a village in Bihar, a farmer discovered a big enigmatic stone. Speaking to the farmer, the stone promised a prize to the person who brought it to the monarch. The farmer made the decision to inquire further about the stone's promise. It can bring good fortune to anyone who will use me wisely, the stone explained. And the entire town profited when the farmer used the stone as a stepping stone to dig a well rather than bringing it to the monarch. The farmer's choice was rewarded with the respect and appreciation of his community. So, what do we learn from here? That it teaches the value of thinking carefully before acting and using resources for the greater good. So, I have given you two folk tales. One about being cautious, and the other one that we should value our ideas and we should act thinking carefully. And I can say you that the two characters I have mentioned, in the previous one, the Brahmin, and in the second one, the farmer, they both are different in two manners, which gives us two perspectives which we learn from folk tales. Next, I'm going to talk to you about the folk tales from Bengal. Bengal's rich storytelling heritage, rich folklore, and profound cultural past have all contributed to the creation of many engrossing folk tales. Characters that exemplify the quality of justice, courage, and wisdom are frequently included in these tales, along with supernatural elements and moral precepts. So, one of the very common folktale we have in Bengal is the story of the monarch Vikramaditya and the vampire or spirit Betal. The mission assigned to Vikramaditya was to apprehend Betal, who had been causing havoc throughout the region. Betal escaped each time the king tried to apprehend him, leaving a riddle in his wake. Vikramaditya tried to remain silent while responding to Betal's riddles in order to retrieve the vampire, would challenge the king's knowledge with every query, posing fascinating ethical conundrums. King Vikramaditya was ultimately successful in capturing Betal and bringing about peace in spite of his hardships. So, what do we learn from this folktale? That we should have patience and we should be calm enough and knowledgeable enough, wise enough, and in any moment of hardship. And it teaches us the value of discernment, endurance, and moral judgment. If you remember, I told you in the earlier lecture that I will be including the various genres of a folk narratives, right? Like riddles, proverbs, everything in the examples of folk tales I'll be giving you in this lecture, like you can say in the lectures of this module actually. So I have given you the concept of riddle in this story. Okay, the next story I'm going to say you about the folk tale actually about a Bengal tiger who discovered a monkey perched atop a tree. The tiger threatened the monkey because it was hungry and ready for food. Since the tiger was invisible at night, the monkey, what he did, he recommended that he wait, like kind of he told the tiger that, okay, wait till until the moon rose. The tiger, accepting the magic monkey's logic, who was familiar with the forest plants, escaped when the tiger fell asleep. And the tiger, due to his agility, he could climb, to a pit actually. The tiger became enraged upon realizing that he had been duped. But he was unable to capture the nimble monkey because we all know that monkeys are very fast in climbing trees. The tiger discovered that the intelligence was superior to strength, and that's even what we learn from this folktale, that we should be more intelligent and wise rather than sometimes strength. I'll tell you another example, or you can say another folktale. A demon that would steal food and harass the locals was plaguing a Bengali village. Elderly, smart, and witty women made the decision to face the beast. She served the food to the demon and invited him to her home. The demon accepted her invitation because he believed she was defenseless. But the elderly women outwitted the demon by claiming to be in cahoots with stronger spirits, and she discreetly shut the door. Terrified, the devil vowed never to come again. So, it emphasizes that the value of applying one's wits in the right time saves the life. The next, we are going to talk about the folk tales from Assam. Okay, so Assam also has a variety of folk tales, we can say. And one of the folk tales was about a lovely princess named Kali, who lived in an old Assamese kingdom. She was loved by everyone for her kindness and wisdom. The princess was offered a miraculous feather by a peacock that once showed up at the royal court. The peacock clarified that if the feather was treasured and protected, it may bring prosperity and peace to the realm. But after learning of the feather's strength, a rapacious minister attempted to take it away from the princess. After a protracted chase, Kali outwitted the minister by concealing the feather and using her cunning ideas. The kingdom was prosperous again after the feather's power was restored. So, what do we learn from here? That the morals of wisdom, integrity, and the significance of preserving what is valuable are important. The next folktale I'm going to talk about is a poor farmer named Rama, who was well known for his diligence and generosity. So, he saw a silkworm actually struggling in a cocoon one day while tending to his farms. Instead of disregarding it, Rama gently assisted the silkworm in escaping. The silkworm gave him a remarkable gift in appreciation, the capacity to turn regular cotton into silky threads. Using this talent, Rama created exquisite silk textiles that were highly valued in Assam. He became a well liked character in his village by helping those in need with his newfound money. And also, this tale shows us the value of kindness in daily life, the benefiting of helping others, and the significance of compassion. The next story I will be saying about actually, is about a fisherwoman actually, by the name of Buri, who used to reside beside the Brahmaputra river. And I think you know that the Brahmaputra river is the most important river in the livelihood of Assam. So, Buri caught a golden fish while fishing. In exchange for his freedom, the fish said that it would give her one wish. A modest woman, Buri hoped that her family and neighbors would have access to food and riches. So, her request was fulfilled by the golden fish, and her hamlet began to thrive. But the fish asked her not to ask for anything more. The villagers' greed took over, and they insisted Buri that you should approach the fish for some more wishes. The prosperity disappeared along with the fish when she did. So, what do we learn from here? That we should be contented and thankful for what we get rather than we should be greedy enough for more. Okay, so next we'll come to the folk tales of Jharkhand from Jharkhand. So, in the folk tales of Jharkhand, they reflect the terrain of Chotanagpur Plateau and the tribal communities which reside there. So, here I'll be going to say you about a young tribal man. The first folk tale I'm going to say about a young tribal man who lived in the thick forest of Jharkhand. His name was Pahari actually. So, you can understand, right? The mountainous region and the mountainous name Pahari. Pahar, we all know it means mountains. So Pahari once came onto a tiger that was going to attack him while he was hunting in the wild. Rather than fleeing, Pahari remained and calmly addressed the tiger. He assured the tiger that he had never hurt the forest and was its defender. Seeing his sincerity, the tiger came to a halt. After they developed an odd bond, Pahari and the tiger worked together to defend the forest going forward. Pahari gained the respect of the tribes, and the forest animal and vegetation flourished under their care. So, what do you learn from this folktale? That we should be compassionate towards every, or you can say, human being or animals, because it actually benefits us at the end. I'll give you another folktale about three brothers who lived in a village close to Palamu, a region in Jharkhand, and they were renowned for their bravery and fortitude. They learned one day that a wicked witch had been robbing the nearby community. The brothers made the decision to face the witch. They made their way to her eerie, gloomy cave when they faced numerous difficulties. The youngest brother used his heart and kindness to rescue the children, and the eldest brother used his might to battle the witch's spell, and the second brother used his brains to understand the witch's riddles. After witnessing the younger brother's innocence, the witch confessed her sins and vowed never to hurt again. So, in the village, the brothers became heroes. So, what do we understand from here? That the importance of teamwork, the value of using strength, wisdom, and kindness, and how goodness can overcome evil. So, these folk tales from Jharkhand provide light on the close ties that the locals have with their environment, their gods, and nature, their trust in spiritual beings, reverence for animals and natural environment, and the value of courage, wisdom, selflessness, and communal cohesion are all reflected in the stories. So, next I'll be talking about the folk tales from Orissa. So, in the folk tales from Orissa, the first I'm going to say you about a courageous young guy named Bada Oriya, which is mentioned in a tribal story from the Koraput region. Remember that the folk tales of Orissa showcases the lives of the people who live in this land, stretching from the ancient Gondwana land to the fishing villages of the Bay of Bengal. So, this young guy named Bada Oriya came upon a lion one day while hunting in the wild. The lion chose to put Bada Oria to the test after observing his bravery. To confront it without any weapons was a challenge. By using his power and cunningness, Bada Oria was able to outsmart the lion and get away unharmed. The lion, impressed by his courage, bestowed upon him a boon, the ability to speak to all animals. So Bara Odia was able to defend his tribe from the lion, and thanks to his newly acquainted ability to comprehend the notion, the motions, and the words of wild creatures, he could stop them from attacking. He was regarded as a forest guardian and became a hero in his village. What do we learn from this story? That it emphasizes the values of bravery, intelligence, and harmony with nature. There's one more folk tale among the Gond people of Orissa about a serpent king who dominated the woods. The land and all its creatures were protected by the serpent king. When a young hunter named Raju ventured into the forest one day, he discovered a sacred tree that was home to the serpent king. Since the tree represented the foundation of all life in the jungle, the Serpent King cautioned Raju against damaging it. But Raju did that. And after that despair, he acknowledged his error and approached the Serpent King to ask for pardon. Upon witnessing his repentance, the serpent pardoned him and brought the tree back to its original splendor. Raju became a defender of the nature, promising never to damage the forest again. And the forest and its animals thrived once again. So, what do we learn from this story? That the tale, emphasizes the value of repentance, the repercussions of greed, and the respect for the natural world. Also, there's one more folk tale, which the Kondh tribe tells frequently. The tale goes that there was once a bear who took pride in his power and hunting prowess. The moon challenged the bear to a race one night to see who could outrun whom. The bear accepted, sure of his skills, but the moon was quicker and fooled the bear into racing in circles with its brightness. After growing weary, the bear acknowledged that the moon was, in fact, quicker. When the bear hunted, the moon, impressed by his humility, shone brighter, protecting him of the chilly evenings. The bear recognized the moon's might and stopped boasting after that day. So, what we learn that we should be humble no matter how intelligent we are, how strong we are, or how outsmart we are. The next, I'm going to talk about the folk tales from Nagaland. Nagaland tribal folk tales convey the Naga people's strong spiritual bond with nature, their trust in supernatural forces, the value of honoring heavenly authorities, and moral lessons about courage, humility, and tenacity. So, for many Naga tribes, particularly the tribe, the hornbill is a reverend bird. And I think you remember that I mentioned in my first module about the Hornbill Festival. The hornbill is actually considered to be very sacred in the Nagaland region. So, according to the tale, everything was destroyed on earth by a massive flood. All the animals were compelled to seek the cover on higher land as the waters rose. A tiny group of survivors were transported to safety by the hornbill, which flew higher than any other bird because of its powerful wings and keen beak. According to the tale, the hornbill was sent by the gods to keep the animals and humans safe during the flood. The hornbill came to represent survival, strength, and protection. In Naga tradition, as I said, the bird is highly valued, and so they have a festival on his name, the Hornbill Festival, and ceremonies frequently feature its picture. Okay, one more folktale from the Konyak Naga tribe, who are renowned for their warrior culture. According to the tale, a young warrior came into a tiger while hunting in the thick woodland. It was thought that the tiger was the forest protector spirit, but it wasn't just any animal. With just his spear in hand, the warrior faced the tiger and begged it to spare his life, vowing to respect the forest soul. The tiger spared the warrior because it was impressed by his courage and respect. After the warrior returned to his community and told others about the experience, the tiger came to represent bravery, strength, and reverence for the natural environment. So, now I am going to say you about another tribal folktale from Nagaland. The Lotha Naga tribe claims that a powerful evil spirit wreaked havoc and misfortune on their homeland. The locals made numerous attempts to expel the spirit, but none of them were successful. At last, Sankum, a youthful hero, came forward and vowed to vanquish the spirit. He embarked on a protracted quest in search of mystical beings and wise elders for guidance. Sankum eventually discovered the spirit's hiding location after a lot of trials. He defeated the evil spirit after deceiving it into exposing its vulnerability with his courage and wisdom. The people in the hamlet celebrated, and Sankum gained notoriety as a hero for his courage and insight. To this day, the people of the Lotha Naga tribe remember his deeds in songs and stories. So, what do you understand from this folktale? That courage, intelligence, and triumph all of good is always prevailing over the evil. So these Nagaland tribal folk tales convey the Naga people's strong spiritual bond with nature, their trust in supernatural forces, the value of honoring heavenly authority, and moral lessons about courage, humility, and tenacity. These tales have been handed down over ages, conserving Nagaland's custom and culture. So next, we are going to talk about the folk tales from Manipur. So, the folk tales of Manipur also, the folklore and the cultural diversity abound in Manipur is stunning. Oral storytelling is deeply ingrained in the state's indigenous culture, such as the Meitei, Naga, Kuki, and other tribal groups. These stories frequently center on their mythology, legends, and spiritual beliefs. So, here I'm going to talk you about a certain folk tale. A young man named Nongpok went to the forest one day to gather firewood and came across a white horse grazing peacefully by the riverbank. He attempted to approach the horse, but it vanished into thin air, leaving behind only a lovely flower, which Nongpok brought back to the village as a memento of the horse visit. This folktale, which is well known amongst the Meitei, tells the story of a mysterious horse that appeared in the village of Longmai. The villagers actually thought that the horse was a celestial being, and it is sent for good fortune to the village. So, as I said, a man went there, he tried to approach, and then it kind of disappeared. But the villagers were blessed with good harvest. So, to this day, the white horse is revered in Manipur. And the story is told as a reminder of the divine presence that sometimes visits the earth in unexpected ways. It teaches the belief in divine intervention, the importance of respect for the unknown, and the beauty of unexpected blessings. The next, I'm going to talk to you about the folk tales from Mizoram. Numerous indigenous communities, including the Mizos, Lakhers, Paites, Hamars, and others, call northeastern India's Mizoram home. The folktales of this hill state represent the lifestyle of the two communities of Mizo and Bru. And these groups have a long history of oral storytelling. Their history, beliefs, and relationship with nature are all intricately entwined with folktales. According to the Mizo folklore, Thothang was a courageous young man who set out to vanquish a formidable serpent that was causing harm in the town. With only his courage and his sword, Thothang entered the serpent's cave with the intention of destroying the threat to his people. When the serpent spotted the young guy, it launched a violent attack, but Thothang was able to endure it. But the serpent, as it lay dying, talked to Thothong and told him that it had once been a human whose avarice had earned it a curse from the gods. The serpent begged Thothong to lift the curse from it so that it could no longer suffer. Despite his desire to murder the serpent, Thothong was affected by his supplication. He prayed to the gods, begging them to lift the curse and pardon the monster. The serpent, appreciative of Thothong's kindness, changed back into a human after the gods granted his wish. So, what do we get the moral? That despite danger, you should be compassionate, you should have the quality of forgiveness and the strength of mercy. Also, in Mizo folklore, Hamar or Mar is a famous figure who is renowned for his courage and insight. The story goes that Mar was born into a small tribe that was continuously threatened by a larger nearby tribe. When the enemy tribe attacked Mar's people one day, Mar commanded the defense because he was a valiant and talented fighter. Mar used his power and cunningness to beat numerous adversaries on his own during the conflict. And also the gods endowed him with magical abilities. Mar summoned the forest heavenly spirits as the conflict continued, and they aided him in vanquishing the adversaries. Mar's bravery was honored by the gods, and he was appointed the land's protector. In another Mizo folktale, the bamboo is also said to be have been given a gift from the gods, given to the people to help them survive. Long ago, the gods, seeing the suffering of the people, decided to send them a tree that would serve many purposes: food, shelter, and tools. However, the god of the fire was jealous of the bamboo, as it was used for cooking and making fire. So, what he did, one day he decided to destroy the bamboo by sending a great fire to consume the forest. The bamboo, being scared, did not burn easily and survived the flames. Impressed by the bamboo's resilience, the god of fire decided to spare it and promised it to keep safe from fire, allowing the bamboo to flourish. The Mizo people believes that bamboo has a sacred connection to the divine, and this story is used in many aspects of their life. So, what it teaches that resilience is the face of adversity and highlights the importance of resources like bamboo, which is very much central to the Mizo way of life. They are a reflection of the Mizo people's strong feeling of community and identity, their appreciation for nature, and their profound spiritual beliefs. The Mizo people transmit knowledge, morals, and customs through these tales that still influence their society today. The next, I'm going to talk to you about the folk tales from Tripura. Now, I'm going to say you about the folk tales from Tripura. So, numerous indigenous tribal clans, including the Tripuri, Riang, Jamatia, Uchai, and many more, call the northeastern state of Tripura their home. So, folk tales from these cultures, rich oral storytelling, history, are firmly anchored in spirituality, nature, and the interdependence of people and their environment. So, the peacock, a very symbolic animal in the tribal culture, is the subject of this well known folktale of Tripura, which I am going to say you now. So, according to the story, the peacock was not as vibrant as it was before. It was a full, a dull, feathered bird, very plain one. The sun chose to assist the peacock after observing its misery. The peacock became the stunning, multicolored bird we know today when the sun gave his brilliant hues one day. In appreciation, the peacock pledged to sing daily in remembrance of the sun's gift. Since then, the peacock, which sings to the sun at dawn and dusk, came to represent elegance and beauty. This embodies the concepts of transformation and thankfulness, as well as the relationship between beauty and the holy. So, in one of the another folk tales of the Tripura community, a young woman fell in love with a man from a neighboring village. However, their villages were separated by a wide flowing river. The young man would go to the river bank every day to wait for her lover. But the river was always too deep and dangerous to cross. So one day she prayed to the river god to help her be reunited with her lover. The river god, moved by her devotion, decided to grant her wish and transform the river into a narrow, shallow stream. The young woman was able to cross it safely and then meet her lover. The river god, in return, asked the women to offer prayers to him every year. The women agreed, and the story symbolizes love, devotion, and the transformative power of prayer and faith. There's one more story about the Uchai tribe, which has enigmatic birds that resided within Tripura's jungles. According to these legends, these birds could sing songs that calmed the soul and had feathers that shone in the dark. According to legend, these birds could only be seen and heard by the most virtuous people. Only a little girl who was abandoned was able to locate the birds despite great difficulty. After returning to the village, the girl imparted the wisdom and tranquility she took from the birds, and the birds even welcomed her with the songs of blessing. So, to this day, the Uchais believe that birds still live in the sacred forest, awaiting the arrival of those with pure hearts. So, we have another folktale by the Riang tribe, which is a well-known folktale about a ghostly rider who prowls the roadways at night. The white-clad rider is thought to be the ghost of a lost traveler who perished in a storm while attempting to cross the hills. The story is that anyone who spots the spectral driver will be guided to a dense fog, in which they will be permanently lost. It is thought that the rider leads the lost soul. Who attempt to follow it without praying are condemned to a life of wandering in the mist. The phantom rider, according to the Riang, is a reminder of the perils of the wilderness and the significance of showing reverence to the land spirits. The tale emphasizes the need for respect for the unseen spirits of nature and the dangers of venturing into the unknown without understanding or reverence. The next, I'm going to talk to you about the folk tales from Sikkim. The Sikkim, a beautiful northeastern state, is home to a diverse range of communities, including the Lepcha, Bhutia, and the Nepali people. Each community has a rich tradition of oral storytelling, with folk tales that reflect their cultural beliefs, reverence for nature, and spiritual connection to the land. So, I'm going to say you about a folk tale of a beautiful princess who resided in a remote village and is a very good subject, a well known subject actually, of the Lepcha folklore. The people of her kingdom respected her beauty and knowledge, and she was the daughter of the Lepcha ruler. The princess, however, was devastated because she had been betrothed to a prince from a nearby kingdom, whom she did not love. She desired autonomy and the ability to select her own companion. So she came to a dashing young man who was a hunter from a far off place one day while she was meandering through the forest. After spending the day together, they quickly fell in love. The princess was stuck in the arrangement her family had devised, even though she knew their love was prohibited. The king's troop pursued the two lovers into the forest and they decided to, just elope. The princess tried to save her boyfriend by making a sacrifice. She changed into a stone so that her love would last and the forest would never forget her. Legend says that the stone depicts a woman's figure and is still seen in the forest, indicating the site of her sacrifice. There's another folktale from the Bhutia community about a mysterious red flower that bloomed only once every 100 years. The flower was said to hold great power, and whoever found it would be granted one wish. So the tale says of a young Bhutia man named Tenzing who heard of the flower's mystical properties from the old sage. Desperate to help his sick mother, Tenzing decided to venture into the dangerous mountains to find the red flower. Just he was going to give up, he found the elusive flower at the peak of a high mountain, glowing brightly in the moonlight. He went there, took the flower, restored his mother's health, and the flower disappeared, leaving behind a small vial of sacred nectar. He returned home and he could not remember the faces of his loved ones or the journey he made. So, you can say he sacrificed his memory for his mother's life. The story teaches the idea of sacrifice, the value of family, and the consequences of seeking great power or blessings. Next, I'm going to talk to you about the folk tales from Arunachal Pradesh. The Arunachal Pradesh is the home to the tribes like Adi, Apatani, Monpa, Nishi, Mishmi, and many more. The rich oral tradition and folklore of these tribes describe the close ties that exist between people, the natural world, and the supernatural world. So, in the Mishmi tribal folklore, there's a tale of a sacred fox that protected their people. It is said that long ago, the Mishmi people were under threat from a group of invaders. The people, helpless in the face of this threat, prayed to the forest spirits for help. So, one night, a fox appeared to them in a dream and instructed them to create a special trap to catch the invaders. The next day, the fox led the tribe to a secluded forest where they could hide. The tribe used the fox guidance to lay out the traps and ambush the invaders. So, whenever the invaders entered the forest, they were caught in traps and the Mishmi people successfully defended them. So, from that day, the fox became a sacred animal to the Mishmi tribe, and they believed that the fox spirit continued to protect them from harm. So, it also teaches us to respect animals, the power of divine protection, and the need for unity in times of danger. There's another story about the Adi people of Arunachal Pradesh, where they say about the rivers that run through their land. According to the legend, there was once a great battle between the rivers that flowed through the mountains. The mighty Siang River, known for its strength, fought against the Kameng River, a river that flowed through lush forests and valleys. The two rivers fought for dominance, and the land trembled with the force of their struggle. However, the people soon realized that the two rivers could not exist in conflict, as it would harm the land. So they pleaded to the rivers to agree and flow in harmony. The rivers pacified and the land flourished once more. So the Adi people still now pray to the rivers. And we can understand from this folk tale actually that rivers were also personified earlier. They have life, but they also fought amongst themselves like common human beings. The next, I am going to talk to you about the folk tales from Meghalaya. The Jantia tribe of Meghalaya has a beautiful tale about the Lady of the Waterfalls, a mystical figure associated with the numerous waterfalls in the region. According to the story, there was once a beautiful maiden named Chingiri who lived near a grand waterfall. She was known for her kindness and beauty, and her laughter was said to sound like the music of the water itself. So one day, a handsome young man from a distant village saw her and fell in love with her at first sight. He visited the waterfall frequently, hoping to meet her, but Chinigiri was always remaining hidden, only allowing her voice to reach him. After many days of waiting, the young man climbed the rocks and approached the waterfall. Upon reaching the falls, he called out to her, but there was no response. The young man, heartbroken, threw himself to the water, and as he did, Chinigri appeared from the depths of the waterfall, revealing her true form as a spirit of the water. She explained that she could only appear to those pure of heart and that she was the guardian of the falls. So, Chinigiri was moved by the love of the man and saved the man and granted him the ability to hear the songs of the waterfall. So it also shows this folktale purity, the theme actually of purity, love, and respect for nature. So the, now we'll go to the end of this slide. So now we'll go to the end of this lecture. Thank you, listeners, for listening to me. And I have tried to give the folk tales of the many of the states of Northeast and East India. So, listeners, thank you for listening to me. And I have tried to give you a collective, a collection actually of folk tales that are there predominantly in the northeast and eastern parts of India. And I have tried to give you the morals associated with him, the morality actually, that we should be compassionate, we would respect nature, we should actually respect nature, and we should live in harmony with the nature. See you in my next lectures. Thank you.